There must have been some money. I believe there's a money trail going from the cult to the judges to favor and rule like that. There's no fairness anymore. In July, he says all things are going to be off record. So the court reporter shuts down. Secretary's right there. I was at the other end of the table, of the long table. Shereen was ex-wife, is at the other end of the table, and way at the end is her attorney. He says, and he starts ridiculing on me and my income and so forth and this and that. So I brought up the homeschooling issue that he was so bent out of shape in May. I brought it up. He said, talk to somebody else about it. Talk to the schooling department or something like that. I'm not getting into that. What? I sensed that he was bought out. So I says, what about the child abuse? He says, what child abuse? He says, the pastor and his wife both beat my 2 boys. He says, don't give me that. He says, I went to school too. And the principal did not use the paddles that you're talking about. He used sawed-off golf clubs. And he pounded the dust out of my pants. If you know what I'm talking about. The reporter and the secretary and everybody in the room pretty much, that's funny, you know. He said, but you know something? Of all the students that got that type of whooping with sawed-off golf clubs, none of them had any lasting effect. So don't give me this about the child abuse. What did he just say? He said that basically anything goes as far as golf clubs are concerned. You can beat your child with golf clubs. He has no problem with it. Isn't that what he said? He has no problem with golf clubs. How drastic of a measure to take that. Once again, there's no judicial misconduct. I approached that to the Judicial Commission, never got a response. So now that was July. Then it gets scheduled again. 2 months later, nothing got addressed, nothing got changed in July. So it got addressed to September. Now it's 1 full year from the time I've asked for a hearing to specific causes, situations, address the mistakes that they made, let me have more time with the children and so forth. I addressed particular situations. I did get a few more days with, was a day and a half for all the months that I don't get them for a week, and then I got 1 week in June, 1 week in July, 1 week in August, 1 week in Christmas, and 1 week in Easter. So I did benefit there. But as far as anything else, any erasing any errors or recalculating or anything, nothing. There was a mistake made by Plowson and nothing was changed. He says, I'm not getting into it. I'm not getting into it. It was repeated over in May, in July, in August, or September now. He's not going to go into it. That's exactly what I'm calling a hearing for. That's the reason I went in jail in 2004. Because Wagner's errors. She told me I was 11,000 in arrears. I was only 7. And it was because of the mistakes. I had paid $18,000 in 22 months. And so I went to jail then. Now here he's doing the same thing. He said, no, I'm not getting into that. Then he gave me a job to have 5 job searches every day from now till November. I have to have like 250 job searches by then. I started doing that full-time job. I hardly have any time to do any work, so I fell even further behind. By the time November comes, it was a 5-minute hearing, 10-minute hearing, and I still can't get my transcripts even though it's almost 7 months later. Can't even get the price for my hearing. How much does it cost? I can't even get that. They have it all locked up. I can't get a public defender, can't get a hearing. I can't, I appealed for the, filed an appeal for the Court of Appeals. I can't get through there until the judge, Schroeder, gives me permission so I can appeal. He has to give me merit. What kind of dictatorship is that? Prove me wrong if that is not a dictatorship. If the person that has wronged you has to say, yes, I have wronged you, you can take it to higher authority. You cannot go to a policeman with a complaint unless the one that you become a victim of says, yeah, you can go take it to the police. Wouldn't that be a dictatorship? Isn't that like Nazi communism or something like that? I believe it is. Prove me wrong if it's not. When a judge becomes so unaccountable that there's no identity that is above them. Judicial Commission won't touch them if there's a money trail or whatever it is that causes them to say there's no judicial misconduct. Where can you go to then? Who can you go to? You can't go to the politicians. You can't go to... There's no authority. They are the ultimate authority in the thing. There's nobody you can turn to. If you can't please them, you're done. You're done. So in November, I come to the courthouse 5-10 minutes. I was in handcuffs being let off to jail. 6 months in jail. The issues that I had addressed, that I requested to have changed, were never addressed. He says, I am not getting into it. I'm not getting into it. I'm not going to change anything. Well, do the recalculating. It's contradiction to the IRS, contradictions to the accountants. I'm not getting into it. And so I went to jail for another 6 months. So from November, December, January, February, all the way into May 14th, I spent time in jail, no money, absolutely nothing. I tried filing an appeal. I asked for indigency. You need the transcripts. You got to have the transcripts to be able to file the Court of Appeals. You can't get the transcripts because I'm not indigent. Although I didn't make a penny, because the judge has the right, has the power to say if I'm indigent or not. There's no way you can turn. There's no way you can win. You can't get a public defender. You can't hire your own attorney. You're totally broke. And when you came out in May, I've been out now a couple of weeks. It's tough. It's very difficult to get a job. It's tough. Everything is, while I was in there, my van was repossessed or taken, towed. I asked the judge, can I at least move my vehicle somewhere in storage? Nope. I says, I'll be back. Nope. I says, what about my van? You should have thought about it sooner. Well, I brought the 200 and some proofs in of job searches that I did. No, you're in contempt. You don't have the 5,000. Well, I can't even keep up the regular child support because it's a mistake. That's your problem. 6 months in jail. While I was in there, they impounded my van. 45 days later, I haven't responded. I haven't picked it up, so they discarded it for me. No charge. Thanks. Seems like no matter which way you go. I tried getting Huber. Each time I send it for it, I send him a letter. Send him a letter, and he would photocopy it, and at the bottom, he may have Huber with verification of employment. No, but no signature. Then, copy. Needs to file a proper affidavit. Little comments all over the things. I have several of them. I have several pages that are filled with his little responses. Every time I send him a letter, an appeal, a motion, an affidavit, whatever it is, he would always photocopy it, scribble a little bit, 1 or 2 lines on it, 10 words, and then send it back to me, but never a signature. The jail needed his signature. He knew I needed that signature. He would never sign it. So 6 months went by. Even though I had Huber, I was not allowed Huber to be able to work and secure my job and keep my job. I came out totally destroyed. Checking accounts are closed down. They're overdrafted. I have to pay $100 and some of overdraft fees. My phones are disconnected. The house is gone and discarded almost. Vehicles are gone. It's starting all over. No income. The credit score low. Everything is just destroyed. When I came out in 2004, my credit score was 430, even though it was at 700 at one time. 700 got down to 430. How do you turn? Can you prove to me? Can you give me a response of how this is not a dictatorship? That this is not a judicial conspiracy? That this is not a Star Chamber proceedings? I have been to two court hearings. This last one was in November. My wife was not even there, my ex-wife, because she knew that I would be arrested. I believe they know it all behind the scripts, behind the scenes, just like the Star Chamber proceedings, that they knew what they're going to do before you even get to court. He's going to be arrested today. You don't even need to come. She lives down in Ohio. She doesn't even need to come. Can somebody please help me, prove me wrong? They have some rules. The judges have some rules. You can see that on my website. The rules are that they rotate every 2 years their duty, their law that they have to do. Evil civil courts, family court, juvenile court, they have several duties to do. And they need to rotate. You know, if you're in family court this 2 years, then the next 2 years you're going to be in something else. They need to rotate. However, they have never done that. They have not honored their own signatures. I wish somebody would investigate into their situation and change something for them. Why is there a double standard? Why are they such unaccountable to anybody? I desire that somebody would investigate, look into it, and change some things. I want somebody to prove me that it is not a dictatorship. Until then, I believe it fully. I desire that you will go and check into that thing. Thank you.